Okay, good morning. Good Chodesh. So, Shin Samach Beis, we'll have time just to do the first two Seifim, I think. Says the Mechaba, Kol Mechitza Shelenasis Ladur B'Soicha. Any Mechitza which has been built not to live in, El Tznius, it's just for privacy, Oy Lishmar Masha Yitnu B'Soicha, to protect something which you put inside it, Oy Leishev Bo Kadei Lishmar Asados, or there just to as a guard's hut or something. He mechitza letalta masha b'soicha. It's considered a mechitza to carry what's inside it. Aval eina mechitza lasas masha b'soicha mukaf ledira. But the mechitza does not make it an area which is mukaf ledira. Imu yosim beis osayim. If it's bigger than beis osayim, hilkach. Therefore, ilan she'anof of yerdim lemata. You got a tree where the branches are reaching down. If they're not more than 3 tefachim from the ground, in other words, they come right down to the ground, and the place where they're attached to the tree, the trunk of the tree, is more than 10 tefachim, it's considered a mechitza, and you're allowed to carry in all of it. So long as you fill the airspace between the branches with eitzim or with kash, with wood or with straw, and you tie down the branches so that they don't move around in the wind. Because a mechitza which is not going to withstand the regular wind is not considered a mechitza. But dafka beis osayim, but it's only going to help you to carry if it's in a relatively small area, i.e. ad beis osayim. But more than beis osayim, not. Afilu not to lekach, even if you planted it for that. Because you didn't put up these mechitzas to live there, but just for privacy or to look after the fields or things like that. So that's the rule. The rule from Sif Aleph is a mechitza which is not set up ladur is only a mechitza l'sniz, and therefore you can carry in that area, but it does not make it mukaf ladira to give it sort of the higher level of a proper mechitza. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Aleph el tznius kugain mechitza she'isen lo nuach sham l'shah chaytzev avonim v'habanoim. For example, you got a little shed where builders and stonemasons can relax a bit. They eat there or they stand there, l'shah, about snare, and a bit of privacy. That mechitza is not l'shem dira, but it's l'shem tznius, that you just have a bit of privacy there. Or to protect something in it. You're going to put some fruit there for kalim or kalim v'chiyotzi bohen. He mechitza letalta. So that mechitza makes it a good area for you to carry. Rotzolema shalidei hekef hamechitza mutar letalta kol b'chol teich shetach hamechitza. It enables you to carry within the walls of this mechitza. So long as it's not more than beis osayim. When it says hilkachilan, kavnosa masha siyim lebesoif avol yosim beis osayim. Okay. Einam gavoim shleisha. For example, you've got a big tree, and the leaves of the tree, the branches drop down to a place which is within 3 tvachim from the ground. Therefore, within 3 tvachim from the ground, as if it's touching the ground. And the middle part of the tree is more than 10 tvachim high. So too, if they're not more than 10 tvachim from the place where they're mechuba to the tree, in the middle of the tree, i.e. the trunk, there is higher than 10 tvachim. She'asu kakeshes is like an arch; it's arching over. It's got to be at least a stretch of 4 tvachim across from this height of 10 tvachim. Because if it's only 4 tvachim wide on a lower point, in other words, you haven't got 4 tvachim points from the height of 10 tvachim, then it's got a din of a karmelis, not of a rish yachid. And in our situation, you'll be allowed to carry under the whole tree. Even in the parts of the tree which are lower, the branches are lower than 10 tvachim. Okay, and you fill up the gaps between the branches. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Zayin, Hainu, through filling it, mischazek hamachitza, it strengthens the actual mechitza, shleitis nadleid alidei haruach, that it's not going to wave around because of the wind. But you still need to tie down the ends of the branches so that it shouldn't flap around. but if it's, what was that going on? Ches, the dafka ad beis hasaim, right? But if it's more than beis hasaim, low. Says Mishmur Ches, could go and show enough of arukin ma'id. For example, if you've got a very big tree with very long branches, if you've got lots of trees next to each other, even if you plant it for that reason, to enjoy the shades, these mechitzas, which were made for builders or to store things, are made for privacy, not for dira. If, however, you fill the area between the branches with straw or wood or whatever, even if you didn't plant the tree l'shem dira, the mechitza should be l'shem dira, but you now fill the gaps with l'shem dira. Im roiv hadefim min akash, if the majority is from the kash that you've now filled l'shem dira, having mukaf l'dira, and then it is considered mukaf l'dira. Okay, so that is sif aleph. Sif base. Shin samach base, sif base. Tell shegavaya chamisha. You've got a little hill which is 5 tfachim, which has a rise, an incline of up to, it's 5 tfachim tall. V'shlim l'asara, and you now extend that height to 10 tfachim. She'also alav mechitza gavaya chamisha. For example, you build a wall of 5 tfachim. So now you've got an incline of 5 tfachim plus a wall of 5 tfachim. Chashuv mechitza l'talta l'kol davar. You in total have got a wall with mechitzas of 10 tfachim, and that makes it and enables you to carry inside that in that mechitza. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah, shegveh chamisha tfachim in haaretz v'uadin charetz she'amak chamisha tfachim. So too, a ditch which is 5 tfachim deep, v'asa al sfas hecharetz mechitza gveh chamisha, and then above the ditch you build a wall of 5 tfachim high. In total, you've now got a mechitza of 5 tfachim, the wall of the ditch and the wall that you've built above it. Also alav hainal sfas hatel, i.e., on the border of this little, this rise, this mountain, this hill. Chashuv mechitza is called a mechitza shemitzdaref goiva hatal the mechitza lahashlim asar tfachim. It combines to make 10 tfachim wall, and that enables you letaltel. The toicha mechitzas mechashiv k'rishus hayachid. Inside these mechitzas are considered the rishus hayachid gomor sheimut letaltel b'seicha, and therefore you can carry inside this area. Ulechol davar hainu gam le'inyan hefsek shnei chatzeros k'mavur lekaman sim shimnaim beis sivov. It also is considered a proper mechitza regarding being mafsik 2 chatzeros, like we're going to describe Mr. Hashem in Shin Ayin Beis. Okay, Beseda. So fine. All right. So in other words, in Sif Aleph, what we said is, if you build a mechitza which was not made ledur b'soicha, not for residential use inside, but just for tznius, or just so that the workers can eat their lunch, or in privacy, or to rest there, or to store things there, then it's considered a mechitza to enable you to carry it inside. But it doesn't. It's not considered a mechitza ledur b'soicha, as we've spoken in the past, to create that whole mechitza to make it a mokum dira. And in the second case, you can combine a little hill, which is 5 tfachim tall, when you build a mechitza of 5 tfachim above it, to give you a total of 10 tfachim, or if you've got a ditch of 5 tfachim and you build it above that, 5 tfachim, that will enable you to have a proper mechitza of 10 tfachim, to enable you to carry within inside that area. Okay, we'll stop here. Chodesh.